Let's get this shit going.
All right. Episode 3, Los Jerkos. I'm Nathan.
And I'm smoking. I'm Travis.
And he's smoking. What are you smoking, baby?
I'm smoking the limited edition 2022 Davidoff. What was this called?
Just the limited edition, right?
Yeah, I think it was just the limited edition 2022 Davidoff Discovery, I think is what it was called. Not bad.
Not bad off the first puff.
I think we're both smoking Davidoffs today.
We are. I'm smoking the Davidoff Nicaragua Diademas. So the deal today is that we decided to smoke a cigar that we've smoked before and wasn't too fond of, and we decided to revisit those cigars, and they both just so happen to be Davidoffs. Fancy.
We're living the fancy life now.
Yep.
Gucci gang.
So I've smoked the Davidoff Nicaragua before, the Diademas specifically. I've been eyeballing them for a while, and then one of our regulars here comes in and smokes them pretty often. And I'd mentioned to him that I'd love to try one. He usually buys them by the 4-packs, and he just gave me one to try. Lucky. And I had high expectations because, well, I really like Nicaraguan tobacco. And he gave me one, and I smoked it, and it just didn't hit like I thought it would for me. There are quite a few things I like from Davidoff. I do have gripes with the brand, but that's for another episode.
I love Davidoff. No gripes. No gripes at all.
I got my gripes, but I smoked it, and I didn't think it was that great. I mean, I love Nicaraguan tobacco. I was imagining that Davidoff would pull off a very excellent Nicaraguan cigar.
Yeah.
And it just didn't fulfill it for me.
It tend to be a little more delicate.
Yeah, I thought it was more delicate than I like. Which I've had some pretty delicate Nicaraguans. I mean, Plasencia had the Campo. I feel is like fairly delicate.
It's my favorite Plasencia.
And that's one of my least favorite.
I love that thing.
Yeah. I'm smoking this now off the rip. It's not bad. It's good first draw. Draw is nice and open, as I would expect from Davidoff. It better be. What about yours?
I don't remember much about my first time smoking this, except for when I found out that it was being released, my expectations were really high. I had loved all of it's called, I guess it's the Exploration series, where it's the Davidoff Nicaragua, like you're smoking, the Davidoff Escurio, and the Davidoff Yamasa. And all three of them were I enjoyed every single one of them. They all had amazing flavors. They were all unique enough to not blend into all the other Davidoff catalog. They were exciting. They were kind of funky and new for a Davidoff cigar. Mm-hmm. And then they announced this, and I got so excited thinking, well, if those three are that phenomenal, this is just going to be, this is going to blow my top off. It ended up smoking it, and I just didn't give me the same vibes that those other ones did. This wasn't as exciting. This is what I would expect a Davidoff cigar to be. Kind of light and not super crazy. The flavor profile was, kind of few notes here and there, but nothing super crazy. When you smoke the Escurio is tons of different flavors all over your tongue. It's a party, essentially. With the Yamasa, you get, a showcase of Dominican tobacco in a region that Davidoff discovers. And with the Nicaraguan, it's a take on Nicaraguan tobacco from a Davidoff perspective. And you those are a little more exciting. And this was supposed to be, to me, exciting. And I ended up smoking it the first time and kind of going, wow, it's not even close. Not even close to what I was expecting. So I think expectations were either on my part too high, or they just didn't deliver.
Yeah, the funny thing I think about both of our cigars is I'm looking at the blends on them, and they both contain stuff that we should absolutely love.
Oh, yeah.
Yours, for instance, Ecuador wrapper, binder is from Brazil. The filler is Brazil Modafina Seco, Dominican Republic Hybrid 2020 Seco, and San Vicente Majardo Seco, and Nicaraguan from Esteli and Jalapa. I mean, that sounds fantastic.
I mean, I'm a huge Ecuadorian tobacco fan, and then Brazilian tobacco, when used correctly, can be spectacular.
Absolutely.
And I mean, this cigar on paper should be, mind-blowing. But even so, I've had maybe a few puffs off of it. Even now, it's just not. It's the same feeling I get when I smoke the Davidoff Maduro. Like, in my head, I'm thinking Maduro, and then I smoke it, and it's just, it's there, but it's a one-trick pony. Doesn't do much. It doesn't blow me away. You can't get me excited over something, and I get my expectations up, and it just kind of falls flat. I'd rather smoke all three of the Exploration series and not smoke this. Just
so it's
depressing.
It's still not doing it for you right now.
It's
nothing about it is changing your mind.
It's a good morning smoke. Like, I can see where it would be good with coffee, which, of course, I didn't make any coffee today, but it would be good with a cup of coffee. It's not terrible. Like, I remember the first time smoking it, I just didn't like it at all. It's okay. It's still, I would have much rather just lit up an Escurio or the Yamasa or the Nicaraguan even. Like, it just, I don't know. It exists to exist.
Yeah.
And it's expensive. So, like, I'm paying a high price point when I could pay $10 less and grab one of the three iterations of it and enjoy that more. So it's kind of like balancing what it's worth. I don't think it's a expensive cigar. I don't think it's worth that. So, I don't know. You've had this
How much
before.
are those? Those are $30 a pop, right?
35.
35 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At least here.
I forget the price point on these Diademas. Looking here on this website, it says MSRP $17.90. I think I think it's well beyond that right now. It's probably up there at like 28.
Yeah, I want to say it was 25, 26, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I don't know. You've had this one before. I mean, I like the Nicaraguan Davidoff, but I'm also... My favorite types of Nicaraguans are those, like, creamy coffee, like, lighter Nicaraguans. Mm-hmm. So
I tend to like the heavier Nicaraguans.
Yeah,
you like more spice.
You like the abuse, yeah.
Well, I mean, I like sweet and bready notes, too. I like to feel like I'm at a buffet when I'm smoking a Nicaraguan.
That works, yeah.
I want it all.
And that's what, I mean, you look at the Discovery... And that looks like a buffet. You got Dominican, you got Nicaraguan, Brazilian, Ecuadorian. Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of tasting, like, two notes. It's like going to a buffet and I went for the rolls.
It might have all of that combined didn't do itself any favors.
No, it kind of took away.
You kind of took everything from the buffet, stirred it all up on your plate, and made slop.
Yeah, I mean, it's mashed potatoes and rolls, and I didn't get anything else on the fucking buffet line.
Damn.
So it's just like bland. I didn't even put gravy on the potatoes or anything. It's just like raw dog and potatoes and fucking rolls, and that's what I got out of it.
Sounds pretty boring.
Yeah, it's all right. But you've had this before twice.
The first time I had that one, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I remember explicitly, I got like a dill note off of it, which is pretty weird.
That must be the Yamasa, though.
Yeah.
The Yamasa gives off a very, like, herbaceous... Like, when I smoke the Yamasa, I'm getting herby notes, like, peaty notes.
Yeah.
This, I don't get that. I don't...
Well, the second time I smoked that, our manager was very cool and did it as a blind tasting for me. I smoked it with him.
Me, the cool manager, or John?
John.
Oh.
John. The other cool manager.
Yes. We'll go with that.
I love John. He's the shit. The man likes what he likes, and he ain't afraid to have you smoke what he likes.
And he loves this thing.
Yeah. Well, I smoked it blind with him, and I was just not feeling it. The whole time I'm smoking it, it was very much like what you're saying. I went to the buffet there, and all I got was mashed potatoes and rolls, and nothing, no fixings on the potatoes or nothing. It was pretty boring. I was unhappy with it, and when he told me what it was, I was a bit taken back, because when I first smoked it, banned on, knowing what the hell it is, I maybe I hyped myself up in my mind when I smoked it that first time. I was excited to try it, and I liked it. Smoking it blind, it did nothing for me. Which,
I mean, I like this the second time around more so, but it's the same thing. It's just like you're not wowing me. It's good. I'm not gonna sit here and shit on it like I did the first time. Second time around, I'm enjoying it. It's just, you gotta blow me away with something like that. You don't make a big, exciting announcement. Oh, we're taking all three of these tobaccos, all these unique tobaccos that we have, and we're gonna put them all in one cigar, and it's gonna be amazing, whatever. Mm-hmm. You throw a whole, I mean, we had an event for it. We had a fucking, like, it turns into this whole extravagant thing, and it's just disappointment. I was like, cool.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest, so far this Nicaragua is sitting pretty good with me. Granted, this is my first cigar of the day. It's the morning time,
cigar.
And my palate is usually on point in the morning. Palate's on peak performance in the morning.
Peak performance.
But, I mean, I'm enjoying this. Something I'm trying to catch myself from is puffing the hell out of this thing. I'm just trying to smoke it slowly.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that's, with Davidoff, I feel like that's one of the most important things you could do, especially, not even just Davidoff, high-end cigars.
Yeah.
Is these are made, these luxury cigars, these high-end cigars are made with the notion of you're spending time. You're taking the time to appreciate the luxury aspect of the cigar. Which I know everyone that has gripes about Davidoff say they're too expensive and they're too this and they're too that.
That's one of my gripes.
Is it?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, is you and I are used to huffing down cigars for the most part.
Yeah.
Every now and then when we are actually like conscious about huffing down our cigars and kind of taking it slow and taking a moment to just, like, that's why we do blind taste tests, is it gives you a chance to slow down and just think about the process.
Even then, I struggle, bro. I'm trying, like, doing it blind. Sometimes I catch myself, like, puffing on a cigar to try to figure out what the hell exactly am I getting.
Yeah, like,
because I'm not like the guys on Half Wheel, where I can pick out a note like, you know, oh, this has got plum pudding.
Yeah.
Or what, you know, whatever. Something
like
even
that.
crazier, they say. I can't pick that out.
I'm not gonna lie, that's me. But I mean, but when I do a blind taste test, my mentality is I'm going to smoke it slower so that I'm getting the entire flavor profile. I'm getting all of the little aspects and trying to figure out what it is from there.
It is better to smoke slower, even with your less expensive cigars. I mean, there's the best experiences I've had have been slowing myself down and taking my time with the smoke, paying more attention to the smoke,
appreciating it.
You know,
it's, I mean, I think nowadays, and I see it at the lounge all the time, is you have these people that a cigar is supposed to be to relax and to take some time and just moments for yourself. But we live in a society now where everyone's so all over the place. Everyone's gotta be somewhere at some time. They got a schedule. So you see people trying super hard to have a moment in a cigar lounge, but because they have all these other things going on in their life, they're still huffing down the cigar. So it's like you could make a lot of these cigars. You could make last hour and a half, 2 hours. I watched the dude smoke the Sanparai Gold Lancero, Super Lancero. That's easily
9 inches. That's 9-10 inch cigar.
Yeah, but maybe more. No, it's more than that.
Is it more than that?
It's more than a foot.
Is it really?
I mean,
13 inch cigar, 14 inch.
It's up there. I don't know. We'd have to double check that, but it's up there. And this dude, I mean, an hour, maybe less, maybe 50 minutes, smoked that thing. He's on his phone. He's huffing it down, and I'm like, dude. He asked before he even purchased it, how long do you think that's gonna take? And I said minimum 3 hours. I can smoke a Davidoff Anniversario No. 2, which is like a little bit longer than a Churchill. 3 hours it took me because I'm like relaxed. I'm trying to enjoy it.
Enjoying the smoke, not letting it get too hot.
No,
letting it get too hot can totally ruin the
90% of the problems people have with cigars, the burn issues, the tunneling, it's not tasting right, it's falling apart. Everything has to do with the speed in which you're smoking it, or the heat in which you're making that tobacco get to. I mean, if you smoke slower, 90% of those problems, if it's a well-crafted cigar, don't exist. And I've never had burn issues with Davidoffs that I was not huffing. If I'm huffing a Davidoff, yes, I'm going to have issues where I got to recorrect the burn, and it happens. If I'm slowly smoking a Davidoff, I can just sit, enjoy it, not worry about it. I think it's, people just gotta slow the fuck down.
I agree with that.
But us doing this is a statement as well as an experiment for us, because I think people tend to, especially new people, tend to smoke a cigar and judge it by the first smoke.
Yep, and I actually was known to do that myself. If I didn't like something off the bat, I wouldn't revisit it. But there's been several cigars where my first cigar that I had from it was issues or whatever it was I did not like.
Yeah.
Whether it's construction or flavor, I did not like. Smoked another one later on for however I got it. A friend gave me another one, and so I'll revisit. And found out that I liked it. Cigars are hand-rolled products. They're natural product. I mean, it's tobacco. It's grown out of the ground. They're not always going to be the same. It's like, you don't always have even vegetables you enjoy. Not every vegetable is going to taste the same as the last. Everything is going to be different because it's such a natural product. I've bought a box of cigars, and this is, now that I'm more experienced, this experience here got me to change my tune on being so quick to discount a brand or a cigar itself, a blend. I really, really enjoy the Pie Synesthesia, the yellow, the first edition.
Oh, yeah.
I love that cigar. I bought a box of those, and I smoked more than a box of them, but I had a box, and out of that box, I think those are 15 count, 12 count box.
I think they're 12 count.
Yeah. So out of that box, 2 of those cigars were absolute duds. Terrible. I mean, I smoked them, not much flavor to them, and the yellow, to me, had a lot of flavor for a Connecticut. It was a very potent Connecticut. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it went above and beyond what people that smoke Connecticut's, what their expectations would be of a Connecticut.
Yeah.
But the 2 cigars out of that, if I had smoked those when I wasn't as experienced and I had one of those 2,
you would never smoke it again.
I'd never smoked it again and never known how awesome that the Pi Synesthesia Yellow was.
God, I miss those cigars.
Me too. I see them some places online.
It's so good.
And I'm so tempted to grab a box, but I'm also like, man, if I do that, I'm going to smoke through them.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm going to miss them again.
Absolutely.
So there's so many things on the market, which is, I'm very thankful that the popularity of cigar smoking has trended upward, because there is so much. I like variety, and now there's so much variety.
Oh,
so
yeah.
When something does go missing, I'm not as upset because there's something else I can turn to.
And variety is, I mean, that's the first thing that I suggest to new smokers is don't get caught up in one thing, one brand, one flavor profile. If you're really into cigars, if you're really interested in learning more about cigars, then literally play the guessing game. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any guidance in my cigar exploration. My dad just got into cigars when I mean, maybe a year before I got into them. And I was across, the country. So for me, it was, I go into a shop. I don't like asking questions. I don't like asking for help. Mm-hmm. So I go into a humidor and I just pick shit. This band looks cool. This blend sounds awesome. I don't know dog shit, nothing about any of this, but I'm going to grab shit and I'm going to roll with it. Yes, I got sick off of a My Father Judge, but now I re-smoked it. I mean, I was deterred from that cigar for the longest time. But once I got further into my kind of exploring of cigars, I went back and smoked it, and now it's one of my favorite My Father cigars. It's a really good cigar. But as a rookie, it's just pepper bomb, harsh, full of nicotine, made me sick.
Yeah.
So it's...
I want to add to your point where you talk about, you didn't have a guide. I think in the realm of cigars, it is good to have a guide, but even then, that's not always going to help you find out
it could be
exactly what you want. Yeah, you will still need to go on that journey yourself and take the chances on some smokes. When you first start smoking, you may find a lot of stuff you don't like, but through that journey, you're going to find a lot of things you really do like. You're going to figure out blends you like. You're going to figure out the types of tobacco you like. What do you like best? Nicaraguan, Dominican? What regions do you like best?
And the crazy part about it is all that will change. So it doesn't even
it will
even matter.
change. Yeah, over time that will change. Yep. I mean, I'm not as huge of a fan of a lot of Corojo as I used to be. I still love Corojo. But there's a lot of Corojo I run into that I'm like, I just ain't digging this. Mm-hmm. Where when I first got into Corojo, there was most anything that said Corojo, I was like, yeah, this slaps.
Oh, yeah.
But the more and more I smoke, the more and more I realize, well, this don't slap as much as I thought it did.
It's the same with dark and light. I mean, I started out flavored, but then lighter cigars, and then I hop into Maduro, and then that's all I did was smoke Maduro cigars.
Same. After the Undercrown, the original Undercrown I had, which was Maduro.
Oh, yeah.
I jumped into Maduro like crazy after that.
It was very similar to your profile where I was digging really dark, rough, can be spicy, but like just really dark, rich cigars. And now that I'm getting more into this, or now that I'm getting, more veterans-y, exploring all the different types of tobacco and whatnot, I find myself hitting that middle road more often. I don't want a full sun-grown, I like a rosado. Or I don't want, I like Habanos and Corojos, and I like that middle of the road where I'm getting the flavor and I'm getting some strength to it, but I'm not blowing out my taste buds, and I'm not, smoking only dark, rough cigars and not able to smoke any light cigars afterward because you've blown it out. Yeah. So I'm
There's
really
a time and
hitting
a
that.
place for a lot of that too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I still really enjoy those type of cigars. But there's a time and a place for that for me. I'm like you too. I like the middle of the road for the most part, generally, because then I can smoke several of the middle of the road throughout the day. If I want to cap my night off with something potent, I can do that easily. And that's just a good nightcap. As far as nightcaps go, I can go both ways. I mean, I can smoke something pretty mild, depending on how my day went, or something full strength. And that goes into, what I ate that day. If I ate something real hearty, I'm likely going to end my night off with something heavy, dark.
Oh, yeah.
If I ate something a bit more light, maybe some salmon or something, then I'm smoking something a little more mild to medium.
Yeah, and that goes into, it could have been those pie synesthesias. It could easily have been what you ate that day. It could have easily, that's why we're doing, for instance, this, and why we are promoting, like, if you're new, smoke a cigar 2-3 times before you make a judgment call.
Yeah.
Because if you ate something that just doesn't vibe with what you're smoking, it's going to taste like shit.
Yep.
It happens.
Yeah, it can totally depend on what you've eaten,
So
what you're drinking, what you drank throughout the day. You things linger on your palate. Now, if you're
unless you're brushing your teeth every time. But.
Yeah, unless you brush your teeth every time. But even then, you've brushed your teeth. You're going to have the remnants of what you've used to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
On your palate. If you brush your teeth and you're going to smoke, wait 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I've heard that from somebody.
Yeah.
Because your palate is taking in things constantly. So just give yourself time, pace yourself.
And just revisit it. I think that's the moral of this really serious and not as joking conversation that we've been having.
Yeah.
Is we're trying to kind of reach out to the newbies and like try shit.
Try stuff.
Don't be afraid.
But don't be too judgy at first neither. Because again, and somebody told me this around when I first started smoking. Somebody told it to me or heard it somewhere, and I realize it now to be the truth. But if you're going to try a cigar, go ahead and get a 5-pack if you can afford it. Get a 5-pack with that cigar and revisit it over time. There's so many things that go into, like you were mentioning, your palate, what you've eaten, that can go into you disliking a cigar. Time, even. The cigar hasn't sat long enough. Not too long ago, I smoked a cigar that I was like, man, it's just okay. And it was like an $18 smoke. And I thought it was just okay. I went and revisited it about 6 months later, and it was fantastic. It just needed that little bit of time to rest.
So I have a lot of experience in this from in the lounge. When we get shipments in, I am the only person that gets excited and can't wait and smokes a cigar fresh out of the box. It's become my MO. My manager is firmly against it. Most of the employees here are firmly against it.
I'm not. I'll smoke it right out the box too.
Yeah.
I want to know, because some cigars can slap right out of the box.
Absolutely. And if it's fucking phenomenal out of the box, now I know that once it sits there for a bit, it's going to be an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I would much rather, I've been doing a lot of this where I'll get a cigar fresh out of the box, gauge what I feel about it, and then in a month, maybe 2 months, go back, revisit it, and kind of compare and contrast from the first time I had it.
Yeah.
And it can make a huge difference.
There's not too many times, too, where I smoke a cigar fresh out of the box that I liked, and then months down the road, that cigar's not good. That does not happen very often.
Yeah.
But more often than, like, a lot more often is I smoke a cigar that I don't like, but then after rest, it's fucking awesome.
Absolutely. I think that's, I mean, I've always gone by rule of twos. The 5-pack thing is a good idea for sure, if you can afford it, but I've always gone by the rule of twos, whether you're collecting cigars, if you have a humidor and you're trying to build up a collection, always buy 2 of a cigar, put 1 away, smoke 1.
Yep.
If you're new to cigars, you're not yet at that collecting stage of cigars, do a buy 2 and smoke 1, hold on to the other one, and smoke it at a later time, and just see if there's a difference. I think the rule of twos. I think that's a Star Wars thing, isn't it? I'm a fucking nerd. Yeah, I think the Sith Lords they go by the rule of twos. Where like
there can only be 2.
There can only be 2, and whoever the strongest one is kills all the other ones until there's only 2.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, I'm a fucking nerd. But yeah,
sounds about right.
I've always gone by like the rule of twos, where it's like it just makes more sense to always have that one on backup.
Yeah, and that's easier on your wallet. But if you can, do 5. And, and again, that box of the Pie Synesthesia, you could be the unlucky motherfucker to get those 2 cigars out of that box. To where you're like, yeah, I got 2, and they still suck. But really, they don't.
You could have been
fucking dope.
You could have been a really unlucky fucker if those 2 were the 2 in your box that were shit. That means that there's 10 in someone else's box that are shit.
Oh, that's true. That's possible. It's very well possible. Fuck.
Yeah. So one guy's just like, fuck, who got all the good ones?
Yeah. I'm the one.
I smoked 10 of these fucking dog turds, and now I don't know if I like them anymore. He's sitting on the 2 really good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. It's always changing, and your palate changes, and like you say, time goes into your time as well. The longer you smoke, there are cigars that I really, really liked when I was younger, or when I was first starting out, that I'll smoke now and go, what the fuck was I thinking? Why am I so into this cigar? Why was I so into this cigar?
Let me ask you this. Because most everybody does it, I'm sure. When you first get into cigars, you're going to smoke a lot of the cheaper stuff, especially because you're going to find that cheaper stuff on deals on deals on deals.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to be smoking a lot of cheaper stuff.
And bands. I always
based on bands. Yeah. I mean, Gurkha fucking got me, those pricks.
Yeah. Fuck Gurkha. God damn it. They've ruined both of our childhoods.
Sponsor us, Gurkha.
Sponsor us, Gurkha. Please sponsor us.
But is it a thing where you can notice cheaper shit as you get more experience? Do you find that to be the case for you? Or are you still, even now that you are more experienced, can you go back and say there are some of those cheaper shits that, fuck, I still really enjoy those?
I mean, yeah, we brought that up briefly, I think last podcast. Fucking Baccarat, man. Yeah. Baccarat's cheap as shit. But every time I smoke one, I'm like, you know what? It is cheap. I don't have high expectations, but man, I could smoke these all the time. I have no issues with them.
Yeah. Some of Diesel's stuff.
God, that sherry cask, though, man. That's another one. So I revisited that, and I hated it. Mm-hmm. So it's the sherry cask one I don't get, but some of the Diesel, the vintage.
The vintage is a newer one, but they did a really good job on that Diesel vintage.
Greycliff is a cheap cigar
that has some good ones.
On it. Fuck. I mean,
Rocky Patel. I mean, I smoked a lot of Rocky. I still enjoy the Edge from time to time.
Have you had Macanudos recently?
I have not had a Macanudo recently.
I haven't had one recently, but that was one that I was really big on for a while, and I just don't. Every time I walk by one, I'm like, nah, there's no way. There's no way it could be that good.
I still want to revisit those vintage series, fucking with the metal band on them.
Oh yeah.
I still want to revisit those. I have a feeling they're not going to be what I remember, because I remember liking them a lot.
I have those feelings too, because I had bought a box of each, and I smoked the shit out of those, and I thought it was the coolest thing, the metal band, and it says vintage. Like in reality though, like when you do the research, it's not like super vintage. There's really nothing super crazy special about it. But I wasn't doing research back then, so it was like metal bands, it says vintage, I'm gonna look like a fucking pro smoking these things.
Yeah. They look cool as fuck.
Oh,
The
yeah.
metal band is just dope.
I have a bag somewhere just full of them fucking things. It's so bad.
They're cool. That's like you collect cigar bands to do stuff with. Maybe Mod Podge it onto something. You ain't doing shit with them fucking metal bands. What the fuck?
I mean, you
gonna
could put
do?
them. You could slingshot them at people. They'd be pretty.
Or I guess if you smoke a pipe, you can use them as a pipe cleaner holder. I guess maybe.
Oh yeah. I mean,
But other than that, they're fucking
You
tits
take-
on a bowl.
take the bands off your shitty cigars and try to force it back onto a shitty. But yeah, I mean, going back to what I used to smoke, I mean, Gurkhas, and we shit on Gurkha. A lot of people.
I shit on Gurkha, but I will say, and I don't
There's
know.
some
I
out
don't
there.
know if. I mean, the Park Avenues they had.
Yeah,
I
there's
thought those Park
the
Avenues.
Havana
were
blend.
dope. I don't remember that one.
No, there's some that are just. There are
They're
some.
good and they're worth the price.
Yeah, they're okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to buy bundles of what is it, the Berserker that they made, and those are
Yeah.
like fucking $2 cigars. I used to buy bundles of those, and they're nothing special. I'm not fucking looking to change my life with them, and we shit on them a lot because God, it needs work. You gotta work on your shit, man.
The other thing I think that happens too, though, maybe so I don't think that even as you end up smoking, like you're a new smoker, but then you got a lot of experience going on, and you end up smoking really high end stuff, and you'll really like the high end stuff. I think as you progress into smoking, though, you end up finding yourself somehow the higher end stuff becomes more accessible one way or another.
Yeah.
Whether it's like. Some sites they'll do raffles, and you'll win some raffles and get some high end shit for $20, like a 5-pack. That was something that got me back in the day. Was playing some of them raffles, or just being involved in the cigar community online. There was a website I used to go on, and some cigar blenders would be on that website, and they'd run raffles, and I come across some higher end cigars from what I was smoking by winning a raffle or a drawing, and like Paul Stulak. That's how I found some of Paul Stulak's stuff. Was on this website. They were running a drawing, and I won second place. I got like 8 cigars from them, and they were fucking phenomenal. And now I try to have Paul Stulak as not a necessarily regular rotation in my stash, but I try to keep some in my stash to revisit.
Oh yeah, and as you expand your horizon, I mean, you don't have to constantly smoke high-end shit. As you expand your horizon, I think the key to that is you win those raffles and you get to try things here and there that are higher end, and you don't necessarily go and fucking buy them all the time, but in the process of smoking low end to high end and expanding your horizons and smoking everything, trying everything instead of just pigeonholing you into a certain thing, you end up with a scenario where you're now able to find the good quality cigars for the lower price points. The best bang for your buck cigars. The cigars that, I mean, selling points for cigars when you're working in a lounge, there are cigars in there that I would pay $15, $16, $17, $18 for, and they're $10, $11 cigars. There are $20 cigars I would pay $30 for, $40 for.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that, because that's the original. Back in the day, they're not the same to me now, but originally when Nica Rustica first came out from Drew Estate,
God, those are...
I was getting them. They were like $4 bangers, and I was getting them for $4 a stick, and they were phenomenal. They're not as great now. They've done something to it. A buddy of mine says that they're
Swisher,
probably rubbing mineral oil on it
Swisher,
to give it
man.
that. Yeah, something's going on where they're not the same. But back then, $4 banger that I easily would have paid $9 for if they were asking. Back during that time.
Oh yeah.
So there are some like cheap boys where it's like, fuck, this is good enough to where if they are asking for more, Charter Oak, I feel that way, which they ended up doing.
They ended up raising the price.
Yeah.
Those were, I remember when those were the talk of the town, where it was like, God, those are really good cigars.
Really
cheap.
good, cheap smokes, and now they're about the price of what I'm saying. They basically took what I was saying about Drew Estate and Nica Rustica and did it.
You see it with La Galera. La Galera is not a brand to really like shit on. It's a good brand, and because he owns that whole operation, he's able to have low prices on his cigars. He started the opposite way. He didn't make cigars and then build the empire. He built the empire and then started deciding on, well, I need to make cigars. So he makes all the boxes himself. He doesn't outsource any fucking shit at all. And he's able to keep the prices low.
Yeah.
Some of those prices now that I've been saying, man, yeah, it's a $9-10 cigar. I'd spend like, $12
on that.
Now they're hitting $12.
They're getting there. Yeah. I mean the La Galera, Connecticut, the Corona
was
$7.99. It was $6.
Yeah.
$7.99 now. It's still worth that $7.99.
Oh, absolutely.
They bump it up to $10. It's a good smoke that it's worth paying the $10 for.
The Don Pepin, the lime green one, that's $8.99. That Don Pepin green, I like the blue one, don't get me wrong, but that green one is so good.
I still haven't had it.
I would pay $11-12 for that. Or the long Don Pepin they made, the blue one in that long size. What were we selling that for here? It was like $11.94.
$9 originally, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought it was like 11 and some change.
I thought it was like $9. Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe it was.
I thought it was like 11 and some change, and then in a matter of a few months they jack it up to almost $20.
It wasn't us that jacked it up, neither. It was him. Yeah,
because it was so popular. It was one of those cigars where everyone's like, "God, you're getting the best experience for $11."
That's what happened with the Melanio.
Oh yeah, and fuck the Melanio. I remember the Melanio was the cigar to smoke as a newbie. People are like, man, you got to try the Melanio. It's like
the Series V.
Yeah,
it's just even beyond the Melanio.
$10, $11, $12, whatever. You got to try that. Now you find a Robusto for what, 16, 17?
Yeah, the Figurado, which is crazy to me, because I remember back in the day I got the Figurado for like $12.
Yeah,
it's like $21 now.
It's bad.
It's fucking crazy.
It's a popularity contest. Like if a cigar brand starts noticing that his shit is popping off, they're gonna he's gonna take it, and I don't blame him. On a business aspect, yeah, why not? Ride the fucking wave. But
yes and no. I get it, but I also don't get it. I mean, just keep putting... Unless there's something going on to where you're like, okay, I actually don't have enough product to meet this demand.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that you're like, okay, it's this cost now in order to in order to stretch it out. Because now you know that not everybody's going to buy it, but people still will buy it. Then you're not going to be forced into releasing a subpar product at the same price and then just lose the whole customer base.
Yeah.
So there's scenarios I get it, and there's scenarios I don't get it. I wish companies would maybe be more vocal when they do those things as to what their reasoning
more
is.
Transparency
I think that
would be nice. Yeah,
transparency would be fantastic.
We're just finally getting it in our government. I don't think.
We need it with corporations as well.
We're just now fucking scraping over a little bit of transparency.
I know,
with
and
the
I'm
government.
asking for some fucking cigar
miracles. Fucking miracles now. Fucking corrupt governments and shit. You're like, can you be a little more transparent with how you do your shady business?
Absolutely.
But it's like, that goes into the variety aspect of things too, is if you expand your horizons and you smoke a little bit of fucking everything. I had this discussion with a customer the other day. If you smoke a bunch of everything and you kind of broaden your palate and kind of start trying new shit, when cigars hit prices that you don't think they're worth, you have an extended library of all these other cigars that are new and upcoming.
Yep.
Or brands that try to keep their prices pretty consistent. Fuente doesn't normally raise a lot of his prices. But like, you got people that get stuck in their thing.
Opus.
Except for Opus, but like Don Carlos, I would pay $25 for a Don Carlos. I think Don Carlos is a high-end cigar.
What that one in there is $50. Yeah, it's good. It's a good smoke.
And I've always said I'll take a Don Carlos over Opus any fucking day, because if someone is selling Fuente, I know for a fact they'll have the Don Carlos. it's a guessing game whether they'll have the Opus. If I gotta play hunting games and I gotta try to, call stores and try to get the jump on the new Opus, it's not worth it. I'm gonna go get a Don Carlos and enjoy it.
Especially when it's so goddamn sought after.
Yeah.
That you've made all them calls and you may not get it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
There's cigars out there that a lot of people don't know about that are fucking, to me, blow Opus out of the fucking water. And nobody's out there looking for them.
Uh-huh.
That I know I can make a couple phone calls. There's some of these are still hard to find, but I know I can make a couple phone calls and have them in my
Mayura.
fucking, the Mayura.
Mayura is, yes.
That motherfucker is really good. I'd smoke that any day, every day over Opus. It's not easier to find, but again,
it's affordable.
It's affordable-ish.
Okay.
Well, in comparison to a lot of new Opus prices, I mean that fucking Purple Rain, $100.
I mean, Davidoff prices now are going up.
Yeah.
I mean, so any of the Connecticut Davidoffs are in that high 20s to 40s range.
May the guy that makes M Bombay never hear this fucking podcast, because that guy will end up
raising
his fucking prices.
Please
and being
please
like,
don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Also, please make your shit a little more available.
Yeah, I think he's trying, but I've spoke with that guy, and the problem is that all these companies want deep discounts from him, and he's just not willing to give it. He doesn't operate that way.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's got to be a compromise. It can't be the business's way. It can't be the people trying to buy its way. It's kind of got to be you got to be reasonable. You got to kind of meet in the middle.
Yeah,
and it's the same. I mean, we talked about Gurkha. Please sponsor us. They have their $100 line. Their really high end stuff.
Yeah,
but the quality hasn't changed from their lower end stuff to their higher end stuff.
No,
so it's like cool. It's rarer tobacco, but if I'm still pulling out saplings from the middle of the fucking cigar, what am I paying for? I'm just paying for the rarity of the tobacco, and you're overcharging me, and then I gotta struggle with the burn issues and the smoking issues.
Yeah, your shit cigar that's been wrapped in a nice bow.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a turd sandwich wrapped up in nice paper.
That's the beautiful thing about the Mayura too, is it's a nice band, but you can tell that there wasn't all the thought going into the band.
Yeah.
A lot of the thought was going into the blend of that cigar. And that cigar is fucking phenomenal. The band is very pretty, but it's very simple, like a lot of the Davidoff cigars, where the band is simple yet elegant, and the smoke speaks for itself.
Oh, yeah.
That is something I do like about a lot of Davidoff, is it's not overly extravagant packaging. I mean, this band just has some...
Even their boxes.
So yeah,
plain, brown.
Yeah, some of their boxes are great. That's what I want out of a cigar company. I want a good smoking experience.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to wow me. I do like some of that stuff, but if you're going to do that, do it more in the accessory avenue. Give me the really dope ashtrays, the really dope lighters, the really dope cutters. Don't worry about the boxes. Because in all honesty, them boxes get tossed the fuck out. I try to hold on to so many boxes.
It's sad as shit, yeah.
And I can't hold on to...
Biggest pet peeves, one of the biggest things is, like, I know some cigar shops try to curb that by selling them and whatnot, but at the end of the day, the realistic view on that is you have people slaving away at these, making these boxes, making them correct, making them to standard, and then you just get fucking tossed out.
Mm-hmm.
At least if you're gonna put some effort into the boxes, at least do like what Padron does, where they collect their boxes back. That's dope. I think every company should do that, but like Padron's ahead of the curve. Like, give someone incentive to hold on to their boxes and ship them back to you. Cut them a deal on their next purchase, or give them money back, kind of like a recycling thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that Padron does that.
And I feel like, there's certain companies that probably can't do that, but like, there's a lot of companies that probably could.
Yep.
But it's just, I appreciate that someone put the effort into that, and it kills me to have like a stack of 25 that I'm just throwing into a dumpster. So there's
some time was spent into that. Yeah. No,
Like
don't.
Rosita
Stop
spent.
being so wasteful.
Yeah, Rosita spent a fucking 11, 12-hour shift slamming boxes and shit. And I'm just going to toss them out, American consumerism. Fuck it, it's kind of just trash now. Throw it away.
I really appreciate my buddies that try to do something
Make
with
shit
their
with them.
boxes. Yeah. Like, I got a buddy that makes lamps out of them. Jared. What's up, Jared? You're the fucking man. He makes lamps out of them, and then a lot of times he'll run stuff for veterans.
Please sponsor us.
Please sponsor us.
Make us lamps.
He'll run those, like, he'll get cigars from companies and then put the lamp to help donate money to veterans and everything. Yeah. And the lamps are fucking awesome. They look really good. I was talking to another guy that makes nightstands out of cigar boxes.
Or like the coasters Will was making.
Yeah. I just don't have the time nor the patience to deal with that. Knowing that, though, I mean, if you guys listen to this and you want more boxes, give me a holler. Just help me pay for the shipping.
Yeah. I mean,
it gets expensive.
The other day, Randy brought his guitar in. So now he made a guitar, like custom made it himself.
Yeah.
And I guess epoxy. I don't know. Epoxied a bunch of cigar bands on it to mimic the Van Halen guitar. So it's red, black, white.
Oh, really?
Like he has a side-by-side picture of it. It looks identical to it pattern-wise, but it's all done in cigar bands.
Oh,
it's super cool.
Did you get a picture of that?
I didn't, but he'll probably come in soon.
We got to get a picture of that, and hopefully he'll come in today and let me get a picture so I can post that in the video.
If he doesn't bring it, he'll have a pic. He showed me the picture on his phone of it side by side. It's really cool. But like that's the kind of stuff. Like people put effort into these bands. People put effort into these boxes, and it's like it's part of the culture. We spend so much time appreciating the cigars, and not appreciating where these cigars are coming from. Appreciating the cultures and the things that people got to do to get this shit to us.
Right.
I mean, like I said, when I first started, I was looking at bands. Bands were, I was like, man, that's a really cool band. I'm going to try that cigar. Mm-hmm. Like, that's advertising. The first thing you see, that's what's going to attract you to the item. So,
now, I'm not saying cigar companies shouldn't make super dope bands and stuff like that.
No,
but I have a high level of appreciation if you do both.
It's a priority. Yeah. I mean, so your priority is cigar quality first. If you can't afford to make a super dope, crazy fucking band, then put your effort into the cigar. Whatever you have left, put into the band. Whatever you have left, put into the box. I mean, Davidoff puts a lot of quality in their cigars. Their bands are simple. Their boxes are simple. Mm-hmm. But you're not going to sit here and, bitch that they put way too much effort in their advertising and not into their cigar.
Yep.
So, I mean, same with Mayura. Mayura is simple, to the point, really iconic. I mean, it's a peacock.
Yep.
It's a really iconic logo. Super classy, simple. And then you smoke the cigar, and the cigar is fucking phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a cigar I'd put a metal fucking band on. Fucking Macanudo vintage.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd put a metal band on that Mayura.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need it. It's fine.
No, it's perfect the way it is. Please sponsor us and send us cigars.
Yes, sponsor us. Maybe I'll try to get the owner to get on here with us one day and have a chat with us.
You know what he should do is send us cigars, and then we have a podcast where he talks about his cigars, and we'll have to enjoy them.
He's
Jewish.
Well, so he acts like it.
I mean, that's you know what, I'm willing to buy because they're really fucking good.
They are really good.
Honestly,
it's worth buying from him. He knows what he's
second guessing my favorite cigar with that cigar, which is that's hard to do. I'm pretty set on my favorite.
We
cigar.
Definitely got to get more of those.
Oh yeah.
Box. I appreciate cigars that are more accessible too, that don't go overboard with their bands. To me, HVC is a company where they make fantastic cigars that you can get anywhere from $5 to $18, and they're not going all crazy on the way their bands look.
Yeah.
Their bands are very simple, straight to the point, and fantastic smokes. I mean, that guy Rainier, he knows what he's doing, in my opinion. Now, I know not a lot of people are as big of a fan of HVC as I am. I think you like just maybe a handful
I like a
of
few
their
of
stuff.
them, yeah.
But there's a lot of their stuff I like. They utilize Aganorsa. I think they might be trying to grow some of their own stuff. I'm not sure. I got to look into that. But they don't go overboard on the bands. They focus on the actual cigar itself, and that's something that is very appreciative. I'm very appreciative of that.
Would that be a brand that if you had to choose one brand to smoke forever for the rest of your life?
That might be a brand that I'd smoke for the rest of my life. HVC, yeah, because it's that Nicaraguan that I'm talking about, like where it's got that buffet, and it's a lot of the full flavors. So bringing this cigar up, this Nicaraguan from Davidoff, it's actually got quite a few good Nicaraguan flavors in there. The only problem I'm having with it is that none of them are taking center stage.
Yeah.
They're all a bit nuanced. None of them are in your face. It's just a good smooth smoke. You're getting a lot of flavors, but the flavors aren't full. They're a little dainty.
I think Foundation would be mine.
Foundation?
I was going to say Drew Estate because he has so much shit.
I smoked that Night Commander last night.
Yeah.
I like Foundation a lot too. That was actually a lot better than I was expecting. I mean, I like the Tabernacle, and it's a Tabernacle blend.
Yeah. All of the different Tabernacle blends. Havana seed.
You turned me on, so I didn't really
Connecticut
care
Raleigh.
much for that Havana seed.
Oh, Havana seed's so good.
But you turned me on to it after smoke. You gave me a Corona.
Yeah.
And I've had the Toro and I've had the Robusto. I didn't really care for them, not as much as the regular Tabernacle, but that Corona, that fucking thing slapped.
I feel like I feel like I would choose Foundation. My favorite cigar is the Senator, which would be Foundation. Also, when I'm thinking like Drew Estate, because they have such a selection. And then I think about it, and I'm like, well, most of the selection I probably wouldn't smoke, but all the stuff I would smoke from Drew Estate, I could find in Foundation and like kind of scrape out all the extra fat.
True.
So I think Foundation would be my jam. It has just enough variety. They do have those High Clare Castles, Connecticut's, so I have like some light and some medium, some darks. I think that'd be the choice for sure.
Only one brand you could smoke. That's the brand.
I think that's the brand that hits all of the points. I can find silky and smooth. I can find just heavy and rough. They hit all of the points. They have the flavored cigars. So I'm not a huge infused cigar fan, but
they're infused or even better than that.
I really fucking love the upsetters.
Yeah.
Anytime I can get an upsetter cigar, any of the sizes, any of the flavor, any of the blends, they're just fucking good. And so I think that would be the choice. I have a little bit of everything. That'd be the jam.
Yeah, they do cover a lot of bases. Now, you brought up, they have the smooth. I'm trying to think of something from HVC that would fit that smooth point, but I don't think
they have a Connecticut. What was that one called?
Oh, the gold line?
Yeah.
That's the hotcake gold line.
Yeah, and
I did not like that.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No, I did not like that.
I'll go fuck myself.
I had high expectations of it. It's another one.
Yeah.
And it just did not meet the demand for me.
I think the story with this whole podcast is stop listening to your high expectations.
Yeah.
I feel like we've put high expectations as the highlight of this podcast. Just stop having expectations.
Yeah, don't have an expectation.
Just assume everything blows.
That is a great way to look at it. If you're a new cigar smoker, don't be too excited.
Yeah.
Don't get too excited.
If life's going really good, just imagine your life blows all the time. Every day's exciting and fun.
Yeah.
Your cigars blow. Your food's gonna blow. Everything in your life. Your job's gonna suck. Everything sucks. And then you're never disappointed when it does suck. And you're super surprised and excited when it doesn't suck.
I'd still be disappointed, goddammit.
Just smoke a goddamn cigar with no expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a cigar racist.
I think, though, the expectations come from stuff you like. And you so
Experience.
yeah, your experience with something. So you end up, whether you do it consciously or not, you end up with expectations.
Yeah, so get the fuck out of your head.
Be a mindless drone, a Borg, if you will.
Yes. Do what the government says. Be a robot. Just fucking smoke shit. Beep boop. Input, output.
Yep. Gurkha. Beep boop.
Beep boop. Gurkha, beep boop. Twigs. Twigs and stems. Feathers. Nails. Beep boop. I'm not gonna lie. I'm almost done. I'm 2 inches. I'm not sure. Hold on, let me compare it. Yeah, about 2 inches.
2 inches. Yeah.
It's still unimpressive in the sense of compared to my high expectations. It's still not blowing me away, but
better this go around.
I would smoke it again. Maybe not for that price point, but I would smoke it again. It's a cigar that I could, for a first cigar. I don't know if I could smoke this after another cigar, but it's
same here. I'm still so. I thought I'd never smoke one of these again, and honestly, I got this because I had somebody send me some cigars blind.
Yeah.
Because I think they have good taste, and I knew if I just, hey, here's a little bit of money, send me some shit.
Yeah.
And they did send me some fantastic stuff. This was in the bunch. I never thought I'd revisit one of these. It was kind of put on me to revisit.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna pay for this myself, but I'm not opposed to smoking this if somebody's so gracious enough to gift me one.
Yeah.
I'll definitely smoke it again. I hope when they give it to me, they're not expecting me to smoke it right away if it's in the afternoon, because I would only smoke these as a first smoke of the day.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about this. I don't know if I could smoke this after a cigar. This is also a very, surprisingly, for all of that tobacco that's in it, just very light. There's not a lot of pop of flavor. That Escurio is dark. It has pops of flavor.
Yeah, I love the Escurio.
Yeah.
That I actually want to get more of in my stash.
You know what my favorite size is the smallest one. Not because it's the cheapest one. That is partially it. But that small, what is it? It's
Perfecto?
The Perfecto.
The little Perfecto, yeah.
I love that thing. I
Me
can smoke
too.
those every day.
When we got the aged ones.
Yeah.
So here's something else I think I should mention. This was told to me, and I didn't get to witness it firsthand until I started working here. But when you go and you're looking at Davidoff, if you're getting new into Davidoff, when you're looking at their cigars that are set up front of you in the store, look for the darkest wrapper. And I'm not talking the blend that has the darkest wrapper. I'm talking any blend. No, not the cellophane. Check it out. So, for instance, the Escurios. Whichever Escurios you see in that have the darkest wrapper on them, get that and smoke it. Same with the Aniversario. Those are a lighter wrapper. But you see a darker wrapper sitting there in the stash,
You grab that.
grab that one.
That's kind of what I did with this. Because there's 2 or 3 of them in there that are Connecticut looking almost.
And that one's the
This
darkest
was the
one.
darkest one.
So a guy who really enjoys Davidoff told me a while back. I went in the shop, and he's like a Davidoff whiz. He knows everything about Davidoff. And I stood there in the lounge, or in the humidor, actually, talking to this guy for an hour. He's just very knowledgeable.
And you don't fucking like when people...
I don't, but that guy I could stand there and fucking talk to that whole time, because he was very fucking knowledgeable. And actually, it's a guy named Joe I don't know if he'll ever hear this, but you're the fucking shit, man. He works at the Humidor of Westmont in Illinois. Check them out if you're ever in the area. And definitely talk to Joe, because that guy knows his shit. Ask for him by name. But he told me about that. And then when we got those Escurio, the aged Escurio, they all had really dark wrappers on them.
Almost black.
Almost black.
Like,
and those were the best Escurios I've ever fucking had. So
I miss those. Fuck.
Get the darkest wrapper out of the bunch. Any fucking blend of Davidoff, just get that darkest wrapper. Chances are you're going to have a good time with that cigar.
Oh, yeah.
Unless it's one that you don't like I don't like the Grand Cru. It's not something I enjoy at all because of its flavor profile. It's a good smoke. I can see why people like it, but it's not my jam. But even then, grab the darkest wrapper.
That was going to be the one I was going to smoke because that's my least favorite Davidoff, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
But then I really up-talked the Diadema, the one that was like wine barrel aged.
And that one is good.
That one's phenomenal. And so I was like, I should probably not smoke the Grand Cru because I just basically up-talked the one that they improved on. So this was a better choice. It's a good turnaround. It's coming to an end here. That it's a good turnaround for a cigar.
Yeah,
I'd smoke it again.
Same with this. I'd smoke it again. So I guess the lesson there is don't be afraid to try something again. Especially if somebody gives it to you, maybe smoke it. Because I know sometimes I would turn around and give that back to somebody else as re-gifting a gift. Which, don't get upset if somebody does that. That seems to be commonplace in the cigar community.
Yeah.
Because everybody is so fucking particular about their palate.
And everyone's excited to share what they're into.
Yeah. But
So-
somebody may re-gift something that you've given them. And that's okay.
It is what it is.
Somebody's going to still enjoy that.
Don't be afraid to try something new again.
Yeah, try it again.
In
It's
cigars,
worth trying
there's life things you probably shouldn't try again. Don't do that again. Don't.
You fucking idiot.
Make good fucking choices. Don't do that again.
That's right.
Smoking, try it again. Don't be a little bitch.
Should we move on to our questions?
So
Why are you asking all the questions?
the one that I was laughing about. I'm gonna skip that one.
All right. Let's see. Steve asks, okay, this goes into what we were just talking about. Steve asks, do you have any advice on how to avoid friends gifting you cigars that you do not like?
I swat it out of their hand and I tell them no.
No.
No, not today.
Stop.
No. I don't think I've ever had this issue. So here's the scenario: is I smoke everything. I don't smoke the same thing. It's very rare that I'm smoking the same thing. I smoke everything, even if going back to what we've been talking about. Even if it's a cigar that, like, I hate Perdomos and I'm not a huge fan of a lot of Gurkhas or whatever. If someone gives me one of those, I'm gonna still smoke it, mainly because it's more out of my own curiosity. There is always in the back of my head the thought process of, yeah, I didn't like it the first 5 times I smoked it, but maybe the 6th time will be awesome. So it's like this weird hope that I have that maybe I'll smoke this cigar.
You set yourself up with another expectation,
Yeah,
baby.
that's what it is, expectations. And so like, I don't ever avoid it. I don't think I've ever been gifted a cigar that I didn't really like, and I can't really think of a time where I have. Usually I'm getting gifted cigars by you, or someone at the lounge where they know my palate. They're like, man, I really fucking think you'll like this. I've never been like, had some random person come and go, oh,
well,
try the cigar.
For him, well, one, I know Steve, he doesn't like Connecticut's. So giving him a Connecticut is no good.
Like 0 Connecticut?
He does not like any fucking Connecticut's.
Interesting.
I was actually going to make him smoke a Pie Synesthesia
Numero
one
uno?
year. Numero, he won't like, I guarantee he will not like the Numero uno.
What doesn't he like about them?
He doesn't like the flavor profile most of the times on Connecticut's. He doesn't like...
Does he like sweeter profiles?
In some aspects. You know, I never really dug into them that much.
think numero uno, man. So
I think if I see him at Adamstock, I will dig into him.
you know what you do? Give him a 5-pack of just all the best Connecticut's.
He won't smoke them though. He'll straight up gift them to somebody else. So that's why I need to get him like in front of me, like, bro, smoke this,
Or
and have him smoke it. In front
you
of
do what unnamed certain companies may have been guilty of doing at some point in time, is you kind of coat them in something a little darker,
linseed oil,
linseed oil on them, and be like, man, these are good habanos.
Yeah,
and maybe he'll smoke the habanos. Hopefully, he didn't listen to this, but
no, he's gonna listen. Smoked. I know he's smoked a lot of Connecticut's, and they just don't do it for him.
Yeah.
Maybe I should dig into that a little more at some point. But the thing he runs into though is like people he works with, because he works. He does like landscaping and some concrete and stuff, and he meets a lot of people, and then people come to find out that he enjoys cigars, and they just, because they like him, he's a good dude, they decide to just gift him some cigars. And a lot of times it is stuff that is, like, with him being as experienced as he is, because he does have a lot of experience, and he knows what he likes, he ends up getting a lot of stuff that he doesn't like. In that scenario, how would you...
Well, I agree with you on the point of it's not rude to re-gift.
Yeah.
Like, if you know someone who definitively loves Connecticut's, or you think will definitely like said Connecticut, and you don't like it, there's no point making yourself miserable and forcing yourself to smoke it.
Yeah.
So use it as an opportunity to, or even better yet, one thing I'm really like is like trading cigars. Like, if
so maybe gift that, like, you can let that person know, like, hey, I actually, I really appreciate your generosity. I gifted that to somebody else that really likes that. That's not my wheelhouse. And maybe gift them something that you really enjoy to show them exactly where you're coming from.
Oh yeah, I mean, trading cigars is huge. Like, if I know that I don't like something, or if I've smoked it once and I have a second one, like my rule of twos, and I know I don't like this cigar, but I know someone will appreciate it, then I'm gonna go, hey, I think you'd really like this cigar. I'm not a huge fan of it, but like, it's got your profiles that you tend to gravitate towards. And if they want to trade with you, I'm all for a trade. If they don't, like, it's a kind gesture to build. It's a lot of this industry is building relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have someone that I know likes a certain cigar, I'll give them that cigar. Now in their head, they're thinking next time they're out and about, or next time they have a cigar in their collection, they're like, man, I really think he'd really like that. They'll bring it to me, and I'll get a random cigar at some point in time. It all comes back around. At some point in time, someone will end up giving you a cigar. Like, I've had customers come in and go, yeah, I found this cigar. I heard you. I got a Purple Rain. I've never had a Purple Rain before, and it was one of the only opuses I've never had. And he comes in and he goes, yeah, I've heard you overheard you talking about not ever having a Purple Rain, and I have a few, and so, like, I just wanted to give that to you. And I'm like, that's cool as shit. You didn't have to do that. So it comes back around. It's a karma thing. It's building relationships and friendships, and you all have the same interests. So it's not like re-gifting a fucking blender or like something fucking stupid you got during Christmas. This is sharing a mutual interest in something that you consume. It's the same concept as giving someone a bottle of whiskey that you didn't really enjoy, or giving them, like, you're sharing an experience with someone. And I mean, if you have preferences, if he smoked a ton of Connecticut's,
now what about the scenario where the person gifting it to you doesn't actually share the passion or even smoke themselves? They're just gifting you because they think you like them. They don't really smoke cigars at all. They're just like, I know you like cigars, so I got you some cigars, and they bring you some fucking Cohiba rounds or whatever.
yeah.
What do you do then? And they keep doing it.
That one I don't know. I mean,
I think I would tell them, just flat out. Like, yo, listen. I appreciate you gifting me cigars.
I mean,
but you're basically you're not getting me anything I like, and I don't want to waste your money.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, but it's one of those things where you're killing a kind gesture with honesty.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Because I've never had that circumstance. If you can smoke at your job, make it blatantly obvious that you like darker cigars and just smoke while you're landscaping. Just really dark shit.
Yeah.
And then they buy you something that's light, and you go, yeah, these are just really light. I mean, I appreciate it. They're really, like...
Now you're relying on people to be fucking observant. And not many people are. So many wives come in here to buy their husband a cigar, and I ask them a simple question. Okay, what color is the cigar he smokes? Is it like this, light wrapper, or is it dark? I don't know.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you mean you
basic
don't know?
colors. We've been married 25 years, and I haven't figured out the color of the cigar that he puts in his mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know what he puts in his mouth. I don't observe any of that. So it's just...
Yeah, and this is somebody's wife.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one. I've never been in that circumstance, so I'm very much someone that would just fucking take it and smoke it. But like, if you don't like it, then maybe honesty is the best policy.
Well, yeah, maybe just be real pompous about it and always talk about cigars. Like, that's your main thing.
Be real pompous.
Be real pompous about it. Always talk about cigars.
Or every time they give it to you.
My brother-in-law gave me some quorums.
Oh, fuck off.
And he is fucking hilarious because he gave them to me. He knows I'm really into cigars. And he's like, man, I got you these quorums. And then he's like, took a second and he was like, I know you're probably not going to like these because you know fucking so much about shit.
Every time someone gives you a cigar, just scoff and say peasants will.
I still have them quorums, and I'm actually...
I still have those quorums.
This was like 3 years ago he gave them to me.
Holy fuck, maybe they'll be good
with age? I kind of doubt it.
Probably not.
I'm going to smoke one, though, in about another 10, 15 years. When I go digging, and I'm like, holy shit, I have quorums. I'm going to smoke one, and we'll see what the fuck... Any other questions we got here that we might want to
We're
tackle?
definitely skipping John's question.
No, okay, let me at least put John's question out there.
Yeah, sure, let's fucking do it.
John asks, have you ever made sexy time with a man while smoking a Gurkha? No. We got an answer for that question.
I don't think so. I wasn't
Was it going to get Gurkha
to
sponsor us?
Yeah,
yes.
Gurkha, if you sponsor us, maybe. Maybe Nate and I will make a OnlyFans.
Who's the bald guy that works, that used to own them?
Gurkha. I thought his name? I don't know. I'm just
Gurkha?
bullshitting. I thought his name was Gurkha Gurkason.
Bald guy Gurkha.
Gurkha Gurkason. No, but smoking a Gurkha could be kind of like having sex with a man. Because you're constantly pulling twigs out of things.
We do have other questions, but looking at the time, we may want to cut this.
I don't know. Gore-Tex has a pretty easy one. I don't know who. If your real name is Gore-Tex, I'm all for it. That's pretty dope.
It's not, but he makes music, and I believe if you search up his music by that name, I'll have to find out. But he makes some kick-ass fucking music. His question was, what was your first box buy? This is why I wanted to get to this, because we've been making fun of them for so. My first box buy was a Gurkha War Pig box. So there it is. It all comes full circle. Please sponsor us.
Please sponsor us. War Pig Gurkha. Please sponsor us. Please don't send us any of those. They're not good. But do sponsor us for sure.
Yeah. They do have some cool swag. Sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor. Cool swag. Sponsor us.
My first box buy, I believe it was the Camacho Candela.
It's not a bad first box buy.
Yeah. The Camacho Candela, which has the same binder and filler as the Corojo. And actually, I think it's a Corojo wrapper on it as well. It's just double wrapped with a Candela.
Oh, see, I would like that. I love the Corojo.
It was phenomenal. The Camacho Candela was fucking phenomenal. So that's why I bought a box of them. And I actually smoked through them pretty quick, and I can't find any more of them. If anybody's out there, you fucking hear this, and you just so happen to have some Camacho Candelas, and I'm not talking Camacho prior to Davidoff sales. I'm talking post Davidoff, like those Camachos. Really fucking good. Send them my way. I'll buy them from you. But I would definitely like to have more of those.
Post Davidoff?
Yeah, after Davidoff buying them.
Oh, they were that recent.
Yeah, this was 2019,
I thought they were before
2020.
Oh shit, fuck!
No,
I thought those were
20, either 2018 or 2019.
hell yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
and they were really fucking good, really fucking good. And if that wasn't the first buy, it might have been the Serie V Figurado.
It's just, I mean, both really good purchases. Mine was the War Pig.
Yeah,
Like,
but I didn't buy a box until like 2018, 2019.
yeah, you've been smoking since you were 9.
Yeah, and I didn't buy a box until that long because I always thought that I'd never buy a box because I was doing so much variety that I would just never buy a box. But now I'm buying boxes because there's some that I know if I don't buy a box, I may miss out on that shit, and I'd rather have that to drop back onto. So
Hell yeah. Well, the moral of the story: don't have any expectations.
none.
Assume everything's shit.
Don't do it.
Unless it's Gurkha, then it may actually be shit. Please sponsor us, Gurkha.
Sponsor us.
Please sponsor us. Please don't listen to this. This is not the roast of Gurkha. We're not,
Just cut all the parts out and listen to the part where we ask to sponsor us.
Yeah, really just listen to the end here where we're going, please sponsor us. And
Please sponsor us.
then don't listen to the beginning. It's been fun, Poppy.
Yeah, it's a good one. We're not very humorous in this one, but
No, we got real serious. It's really,
too fucking serious.
yeah.
I don't like it. Maybe next time we'll have some funny shit to say. So those of you that have questions to ask us some good ones.
Yeah, please.
Try
We're
to
running out
sprinkle
of
some
questions.
fucking humor in there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not, like, the gay shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with other people being gay, but I'm good.
He's okay. I'm not. Don't do that.
Don't do that shit.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.
Peace.